So this is what we have for the whole semester. Totally 5 units of it. It's very simple and easy syllabus. It's very scoreable. It's very uh, what is it? Remarkable, uh, even for the gathering of credit through online. We have number of systems online also. You can go to those courses and take credit from those courses also. Need not to attend these classes only. But for the beginners and to start with, this is what physically we have to study in our classes. We'll start with a simple one, first unit, and even from the first unit, we are not going to start this part. We are just going to have the meaning of this thing, what yoga is actually. So today is just an introductory class of yoga, and we will be learning about what yoga is actually. Will not, we are not going to have scientific definitions. We are not going to have the clear explanations, detailed explanations. We are simply going to understand, going to know what yoga is actually, from where it has come and what it's. We will just simplify the definitions of the things, and we are not going to elaborate it in such a way that the way we have to write it in exam. This is just we can say that we are just introducing ourselves with yoga. So the first thing is it's about uh, when we say yoga, usually it is termed as yoga. So A means silent when we speak on these terms. So it's about yuj generally, the Sanskrit word that's said to be as origin from the yuj. And yuj is a Sanskrit, not specifically Sanskrit word. We will, when we go on to the etymological meaning of yoga, we go on details with the notes and all that. Then we will come to know that from which Upanishad it has come and what are the traditional scripts from where the yuj has come. So in brief, we can say that simply it's a Sanskrit word which is pronounced as yuj, and yuj is actually what it means is actually to unite. So yuj is something that says us to unite. The question is whom to unite, what to unite, where to unite, how to unite. So first of all, yoga is something that says us, that highlights in us that we have to unite ourselves. So uniting ourselves with uniting from within. And so yuj is, which means to unite, to join, to bind, to yoke up. In simple terms, we say that yuj means to attach. To attach with whom, and if we say that to attach with whom, then generally we say that to attach with the God. And when we say that with the God, it doesn't mean that we are talking about what the God really, for example, we are saying that we having a particular God, someone else having a separate God. This means in this terminology, in both these scripts of yoga, so whether it's from the Buddhism, whether it's from the Jainism, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, so all this, what means when we come to terms about yuj, it's to unite, and unite with God here means God always had referred to something that individual having faith on. For example, to unite with ourselves, to unite within own individuality. So it's not particularly that we are saying that yoga is to unite with God. No. For God here is the reference with the supreme power. And that supreme power be your own mind, your own mentality, your own behavioral aspect. So individual is said to be have unlimited explorations. And that unlimited exploration is the strength of the individual. If we say to unite with our own self, to unite with our own realizations, to unite with our own thoughts, to unite with our own mind. In simple and clear terms, if we say what yoga says about yourself only, to realize yourself. So, yuj Overall is a definition that concludes to the word self-realization. Yoga tends to make us realize ourselves. So if we say yoga, so after all the aspects, all the definitions, all the meanings concluded towards self-realization. Yoga is a practical aid to learn proper positioning of the body. Of course, we say do number of asanas, and apart from asanas, there are number of other activities are there, meditations are there. So all these things is what for? It's all this is to make yourself closer to your individuality. So yoga is something that making you learn about yourself. That's the first thing. So yoga, it's a Sanskrit word. That's the base. Root word is yuj. That means to unite, and it indicates that to unite with something that you make, that you think that it's a supreme power. It's the main power, and that main power, after all, comes from where? It's from our own mind. So yuj is something that makes you unite with your own self. It is something that makes you say that you have to realize your own body, you have to make your realizations about your own self. So it's all, yoga is all about self-realization. Yoga is a method, yoga is a process, yoga is a way of doing things, yoga is a thought. So every whatever, it's unlimited things that we can say. If we say what yoga is, so it's huge, derived from the Sanskrit word, and that actually overall indicates us to unite ourselves, to realize ourselves. Yoga can be described in other sense also. So yoga can be described as a wisdom. So overall, if we talk about to make ourselves very good, make ourselves realize, so we can say that we are making ourselves, we are talking about the wisdom. Apart from all these things that what yoga's traditional and etymological meanings, yoga is simply that improves ourselves. So we'll start now also with this. Initially, we will, apart from the basic word that has derived from the Maharishi Panini. So that was main rooted through Maharishi Panini. So he, the very respectable Maharishi Panini, was a Sanskrit grammarian. So he, it is said that the first time it has been termed out this word by as used by Maharishi Panini. So he was a Sanskrit grammarian. So it's also from so there is from where the word yoga has started. So the birth is from yuj. There are many manuscripts. There are many. Madan, don't any annotate. Try to delete these things. Don't disturb this. Okay. So when we come on the traditional thinkings, traditional manuscripts, so there are number of times we have come to know this word has been referred. So wherever this word has been referred, I'm just scripting out that where these words has been referred through Maharishi Panini, and it's all be suffixed or prefixed by the word huge. So wherever that has been mentioned, so he is talking about yoga only. And there are some quotations where Maharishi Panini has specifically said that this is what mainly related with yoga. So this is how the relationship of yuj and yoga has been created. So this is in Sanskrit that how they have related itself through the statements that yuj denotes to. Yuj actually is a pronunciation, which is something that highlights the yoga. So these are the Sanskrit terms, and don't scared with these slokas or these kind of words. We are not going to write these words in examinations. No one is going to ask you the meaning of slokas or something like that. But this is just to have a introduction, the base that where this which has been rooted. Maharishi Vyasa was also a commentator of Yoga Sutra. And after, if we say that apart from or after Maharishi Panini, the main descriptions of yoga had been mentioned in Yoga Sutras, and the commentator of Yoga Sutra was authentic commentator of Yoga Sutra was Maharishi Vyasa. So in that Maharishi Vyasa, it has been the reference is also there. It has been said that yoga samadhi. So that was the term how Maharishi Vyasa has described. So there are a number of authors, number of spiritual high persons who have described yoga, what the yoga means to them. Slowly, we will come up with those references and try to understand what those high individuals have tried to say that what yoga is. And I once again say that don't get bothered about the word or don't get bothered about the statements that we have mentioned. These statements we need not to learn. You need not to write these statements in the examinations. This you can consider that this session is just only to understand what yoga is. So for that we are beginning with the historical aspect. So Maharishi Vyasa has mentioned yoga samadhi. So in that case, we can say that Yoga Sutra has defined yoga as samadhi. Samadhi is putting yourself all together for a particular purpose. So we will also having explanations of samadhi in different ways. We having different chapters for that. So samadhi is putting yourself completely under control of your own self, devoting yourself completely to yourself, getting yourself in isolation. There are a number of definitions for samadhi. There are some differences, and we will explain all these things. So you need not to bother about what samadhi at present is. So the only thing is yoga is something that's related with samadhi, and this is how the yoga tradition and this is how the yoga has been defined in the traditional sculptures. So it's about Patanjali also. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, yoga has also been defined. And this is what the most important thing. This is you have to understand. And this will be good if you realize the thing. If you understand this thing, that means you are understanding the yoga. So what Patanjali Sutra itself says that starting with the statement in its references here. So it's yoga. They wanted to say that what yoga is. So they started with the yoga is chitta. Okay, chit means many says that chit is actually mind. So is chit is actually your man and your mind, mana. So chitta, mana. There is a lot of difference in chitta and mana definition. Lot of difference, but in general, now we are referring at chitta means the mind, the man. So we are taking it as a whole in general. So yoga is something that is related with your man. So the next thing is vritti. The other thing is the other word is vritti. Okay, the vritti again starts with and vritti means modifications. Vritti means the number of thoughts that coming up in your mind. So vritti is almost said as mental modification. Number of thoughts are coming into our mind. Number of we are limitless in thoughts. So this is what we have tried to Patanjali Yoga Sutra has tried to mention that. So it's vritti means the mental thoughts. Now it's the other thing is it's about, let me take a color, some different color. So it's nirodha. So nirodha is to prohibiting something, not allowing something to move on. In general, if we take the statement as a whole, so yoga is something. This whole statement quotes as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So yoga is something that controls. Yoga is something that controls our mind's variations. So to make it understand, yoga is something that controls our minds, thoughts. So in other way, we can say that yoga means, Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga controls our minds. Practicing of yoga improves ourselves by making ourselves limited to limited thoughts only, limited to those thoughts that actually important for the chitta only. So controlling of mind is yoga. Now this is the definition where this is the base, which is actually a base of every definition. If you find the definition of yoga through some foreign author or through some any Indian traditional authors, after this they have actually defining the yoga in different terms, but the base of the term of this definition of yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is something that controls your mind, so that controls your thought. So chitta means the mind or the mana in general, and vritti means the variations, the modifications of your thoughts. So that's when nirodha means the controlling. So the controlling and all those aspects are being done by yoga. This is what actually yoga is. Bhagavad Gita is also well known for the definitions in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. A number of times, yoga definition term yoga has come. So Bhagavad Gita is also the prime source that says what yoga is actually. And we need not to go whole this slokas, and this sloka is particularly really very known and very well and scripted in most of the traditional books, because this is something that describes that equanimity of the mind. If you read out the whole these things, so it says about equanimities. So this Samantam Yoga Ukyate. So that actually the last, it means the last sentence, it particularly means that it makes you balance, it puts you in balance. So Bhagavad Gita has a number of references where Bhagavad Gita says that yoga put individual in balance, put individual in balance. We need not to go hold the statements again. In case of this sloka in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we can refer this only. So we will come to know about the thing. So it's karmasu, or we simply can remember the word karma. So Bhagavad Gita is has best defined yoga in terms of that it's karma. So we can also say that yoga is something that is known as karma. Whatever karma we do is yoga. So on other aspect, we can define yoga. Yoga is something that makes us to learn to do good. So that's what yoga is. Vasishtha Samhita, again, traditional manuscripts are there. So it's the union of attribution of Jivatma and the Paramatma. So if this definition becomes very important, and I again repeat that we need not to really mug up these definitions or write these definitions in examinations. That's not required. So only if we have to refer that, this is just to understand that what traditional scripts have, what yoga means in traditional scripts. So in this, if we say that, so Vasishtha Samhita has said that commonly attributes to Jivatma. He has mentioned here the importance of Jivatma. Jivatma means yourself, that individually having a soul. So here Jivatma means ourself, we having a soul and we have a Atma. So we are Jivatma. And when Jivatma gets united with the Paramatma, so it's the individual gets united with the prime power, with the supreme power. So it's the individual gets united with a power. And I again refer that power here means it's not primarily you are thinking of some God. So power here means whatever you have realization on. For example, if you put yourself on concentration, you are getting some energy. So those energy is that energy is a kind of power. So when you are getting yourself indulged into some kind of power, so Jivatma or Paramatma ka milan. So when you get united with Jivatma, when Jivatma gets united with Paramatma, it's the yoga system. If anyone have any want to say anything, they can unmute this. Okay, so same way, Maha Upanishad, these are the big traditional Upanishads that I have mentioned about the things. So Maha Upanishad has also mentioned the yoga, and in this Maha Upanishad, this is simply a saying that it is like that. We have the sayings in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, like here also, it's Bhumi. Bhumi means that what your role is as an individual in the society. So it's something like that. So Maha Upanishad has said that yoga is something how good you are playing in the society, how good you are with the society, and how good you are with yourself. So that's what yoga is. So Grabhopanishad is also there, and Grabhopanishad has also described about this again the same what yoga is. So all these are something aspects that if we talk about Griha Upanishad, so yoga is said to be as the greatest medicine. So here somewhat diversion is there, and individual is getting cured by his own inner powers. So Griha Upanishad is something that is particularly said as that some kind of power is there in yoga that heals yourself. So in terms of, we can say that Griha Upanishad had mentioned yoga as a, in terms of has related itself with the medicine term. So this is what we can say that all about what yoga is, what yoga means. So if we really want to conclude about the things that what we really understand by yoga and what yoga is. So this is what actually we can say that. Likewise, we have the term yoga has been referred in uh, number of things, and we can say that yoga has been referred in uh, Upanishad, and all these variations are there. It has been mentioned in Jainism, it has been mentioned in Buddhism, Agni Puranas, number of other terms, a number of other reputed traditional and scripts that yoga has been mentioned. If really we want to conclude on the things that what we have to understand that what yoga is, so don't get bothered about those Sanskrit and other tough language or good languages, but there are some other. Don't we need not to write these? I mean to be say is that we need not to write these things in the examination. In simple, we can say that yoga is something. It's a kind of process. It's something that really make us to elevate ourselves. So a process for elevating oneself through self-realization is yoga. So when we talk about that, what yoga means, what it all about, so we can say that yoga is something that describes as the wisdom in work. Yoga is considered as a skillful living. It makes you living in a skillful manner. Control the thoughts, the waves in the mind. So vritti is actually waves. So controls the waves of the mind. So chitta vritti nirodha. That's what yoga is. Yoga is a process of gaining self-enforcement, self-realization, self-improvement. So this is all about yoga, and we have come to know in simple terms that what yoga means and what yoga mean, what we are understanding by this term. as far as today it's the first class, and we have just come to know about what we have just discussed about the yoga, but only the term yoga. So we will proceed in the next part with the introduction, meaning, definition, name, subjective, need, important, all other aspects related to yoga. So it's very important to understand that where yoga has come, what it actually means to. So this is what I have to make you understand. And kindly unmute yourself. And if you have any questions related to this, so someone has messaged me, text me that it's really tough. So that's why I'm replying you. So it would have been good if you text it on to everyone. So it's not tough. Yoga it's very simple. It's a way of life, and it's not a tough subject. I have made it tough for you. That's what I can apologize for. And this is actually in this class, just the first class, and we just wanted to know about that where yoga has come from. So to make it bring out of those historical aspects, we have to refer those historical aspects. So that's why it seems to be a bit tough, but don't bother about those things. It's nothing like that that we are having a tough programming, tough syllabus or anything like that. So it's not tough at all. If you see the syllabus, it's very simple. And when you get the notes, when you get the things, we are having a wonderful library, and we are having a number of books out there. So it's a yoga education book out there. It's a essentials book out there. So these are the basic books on yoga. And as far as the notes are concerned, the written material are concerned, you find it everywhere. So yoga is something that is really universal. So you can find it easily anywhere. So this is what all I have to say in today's class. And if you're having any doubt, you please come out. You please ask me those any doubt if you have. Please unmute yourself so that at least I can understand that you are bothering me or I bothered you. Can you unmute yourself? So if you have any doubt, you can ask me because this was just a simple explanation of yoga. This was not a broadened out subject.
Sir, can you please share the syllabus in the group, yoga group? Because we don't have it in Cluster University on the website. It is not available on the website.
Oh, definitely. This is something that you have to, yeah, you must have asked me earlier. This is the prime thing. You must have this syllabus. Okay, I'll share it with you. And this is what you are asked to coordinators also. I'll share the syllabus with you. It's very simple, very easy. And tomorrow onwards, we'll start according to the syllabus. This was just an introduction. I hope you don't get scared with.
No, sir. No, sir.